folks at home, we've had a lot of crazy things happening. James will probably leave to do something during the middle of this episode. Apparently, people are also calling him moments before we get started. Andrew is suddenly distracted.
Yep.
It's just all around. I'm not blaming anybody. We are all people who are living our lives right now. And Lauren did not get hot wings. She got wings that were kind of mid. So
Yeah.
this is how we have arrived.
Would you say tepid? Tepid wings?
Tepid and slightly tangy.
Okay.
Yeah, I had some sad hot wings earlier today too.
Generic fantasy adventure, a D&D 5e adventure series. The second season, the 8th episode. Is that where we find ourselves at? We have 4
You
heroes.
have all the spice you need.
Actually, I believe we're on episode 9.
9, yeah.
I said 9.
You said 8.
Did
You
I?
said the 8th episode.
Well, I meant 9. I was literally looking at the title that says season 2, episode 9. So just more, my mind is still continuing to slip further and
We're just
further
living our
away.
lives. We're just living our lives.
Gunny Kenny, thanks for that Twitch Prime sub. Anyway, our 4 heroes, 4 war horses, some packs, and no dragons have made their way through a druid tree hole created by the druid adoption parents of Kithtrix. The 4 of you have a letter in hand indicating that the Blessed of the Canaan Stars parents, one of them has been kidnapped, the other has set off on a fantastical adventure to go find her. After a dragon attack in your hidden valley, you arrive in said hidden valley. There is a sweet smell to the air, as if everything is constantly faintly of honey. You can see, despite the sun having risen over the edge of these mountains, that there is still a thick mist layer that holds several hundred feet above your head that disperses the sunlight and allows this hidden valley to always be rather cool and humid. And more importantly, you just got back from the desert. You spent like 2 or 3 days at home. You're used to a temperature closer to 100 degrees and then back to about 70 to 80. It's like 41 degrees Fahrenheit here. Y'all are freezing, especially Tanira, who is wearing desert robes. The entire mountainside is like a gentle, slight slope. And you can see that the houses here are closer to something like hobbit holes. They're built into the mountain, and it looks like they disperse the smoke coming out of these houses by having it come out of multiple chimney holes. People are waving as you approach. You can see that there's probably about 300 houses here. It's hard for any one of you, except of course for Kithtrix and for Gwyneria, to see these because they're so well built. Gwyneria has lived most of her long elven life, and Kithtrix has a passive perception of 24, so I'm just not going to bullshit Kithtrix here. Just your sharp eyes, you're just like lock on and zooming on angular shapes, and you're like, non-natural. Yes, that must be a domicile built into the side of the mountain. There are fewer people out than you would think, Gwyneria. There are fewer people out right now. You could see that some of the houses have been melted as if by acid or burned as if by fire. There are trees missing. The people here are happy, but they aren't as happy as they once were. People are for everyone else, people wave to you immediately and are like, "Ah, I shall speak to you in the elven tongue, which is the only tongue I know, for I have not learned the imperial common tongue, for I shall never leave this valley." For you guys, it's like immediate, but for you, Gwyneria, there's like a whole quarter of a second hesitation before they greet you, which is very strange.
Mm-hmm.
There's just sort of like a gust of wind, a low rustle of grass that spreads like a wave, heading in front of you, guiding you down into the valley.
I will
I
sing
will change. Sorry, go ahead.
I will sing an elfin song, probably a children's song,
Excellent.
to lead us this way. You know, kind of say, "Hello, I'm home."
If we were all sitting together in person, I want to indicate to you that I would be picking up a fistful of dice right now and rolling them behind a Game Master screen.
Oh.
I'm telling you that because I am rolling dice behind the Game Master screen right now. I will also need you to make a performance check.
Okay.
I am changing Sparky's countenance to white, so at least he's comfortable in the cold.
You did not bring Sparky with you.
horses.
You left Sparky behind.
Did we? Okay, cool. All right, my mistake.
You did not want to. You wisely
That's right.
deducted.
I can summon it. That's why I can summon him when required.
Oh.
That's fine.
You
Only a
deducted that
9.
bringing Sparky to the site of a recent dragon attack may not end well.
Correct. You are correct.
Not a very good performance.
A
today.
9 performance. Very
Yeah.
well. All right. I'm
Awful.
doing some math. In
My
the
passive
background.
is 16 on performance, but my active is only a 9. Oh, it's so sad.
And okay.
I clear my throat.
Your
Obviously
song,
not used to
you're just thrown off by the weirdness of what's happening around you. As you sing, the grass seems a little less rich. The mist seems to part a little bit more to allow more blazingly hot, warm sunlight for the local climate. The people here look at you oddly as you pass them singing a children's song. But they still nod to you.
I think I'm gonna. I mean, I'm leading them. I'm just saying hello, hello, yes, hi, hello. Just friendly nodding. I stopped singing the song because I'm not really feeling it. And yeah, something is definitely off. Is there anyone I recognize from when I lived here?
There are.
anyone I know?
I mean, you recognize most people that are here. Specifically, you pass Tyrell, the watchwoman. She doesn't make any attempt to stop you, but she does kind of fall in behind you to follow your group of outsiders and strangers.
Okay.
Also, you recognize Fair Veldir, who is a local hunter. He works under your father, Rudra, in order to keep... He is a hunter, not a ranger. And his job is to kill rabbits in the passes so that the wolves outside the mountain range don't have anything to eat and leave the Hidden Valley alone. So, you know, he's happy to be a rabbit killer, but also some people think that, you know, 81 is too young to be given such an important job as rabbit killer, so...
Oh, I remember when I was 81. Yeah, I was full of potential and eagerness, but maybe a little foolish at the same time. But yeah, if he does a good enough job, then, you know, rabbit fur gloves keep us warm. You said Tyrell is the watchwoman?
Yes, Tiril is the watchwoman, and I'm going to put both these names.
Okay.
Neither of them seem to be in a rush to introduce themselves to your friends. They also, most people here exclusively speak Elven.
I think that I will ask my friends to wait a moment, and I will stride over to her, and I will kind of draw her aside in an Elven. I was like, I know it's strange for me to come home and have strange non-Elven companions. Fear not, though. I finally have the letter, and I've been informed as to what happened. And I've managed to find my way home.
What letter has been sent to you?
And I show her the letter.
Yes, your parents. They went missing during the dragon attack. There have been many strange things happening here since then. You would do well keep an eye on what's going on around you.
Everyone seems less joyous than normal. Hesitant, perhaps.
The bard Malabin passed through here a few weeks ago. 2 days ago, he began singing uproariously while drunk and had to be escorted to the waterfalls in the north. He said that he wanted a silence. And I'm just going to stop you here. This is the part of the episode where the screen goes black and it says generic fantasy adventure. And then those words, they like age and get old and turn brittle and bone white and fall apart. And it says content warning. This episode is PG-13 plus.
Oh.
Then we come back to you talking to Tyrrell in this beautiful pastoral elven landscape.
I would have bard want silence. We never want silence. We want music and tales and talking and lots of chaos.
He is with the College of Whispers, but you know, for a man that wanted silence, he sure was singing quite loudly.
And the waterfall is anything but silent.
Strange things going on around here.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, we are here. I brought my adventuring companions, my good friends. We've been through many dangers. We've even slain a dragon. And I thought coming home would be helpful.
There are many here who have prepared for your coming.
I would like to meet with them and see what they need and how I can aid them.
I do not know that anyone requires spiritual guidance at this time, but it is well that you have returned and to take your place here.
There's much to do. I don't even know how long I might stay. There's a plague of dragons upon this land, it seems.
Why would you leave?
Because all lands are in trouble.
But you belong here. You are the Canaan Star.
I know I'm the Canaan Star, but I have such skills, and they have been growing and developing. Along with my companions, I could do good for all, not just for our valley, but for all beings everywhere.
There's a wild look in her eyes, and there's sweat along her brow as she says, "But you can't leave. We need you here."
Well, we're here for a time. I will try and do my best. I mean, they don't need spiritual aid, but I have hands, I have tails, I have spells, I have knowledge. I can perhaps find my father and help find my mother. I mean, that is part of what drew me back.
Only you can make these decisions. But it is not done like this.
Who's to say what is done like what? Seasons change, leaves fall from trees in other places. Yes, everything here is the same, but there's more than just this. And I cannot be a beacon of knowledge if I do not explore and understand things beyond this. I know it's unusual.
I do not mean to sound short or smart with you, but what is the purpose of a library if the book that you are looking for is not present? When you need knowledge, you cannot find it. Is it any different than the library not existing at all?
But who gathers knowledge to put into the library in the first place? You cannot let it grow stagnant. You cannot let it be only 10 books when you could have hundreds or thousands. There's always something new to learn.
Her eyes sharply glance around while you're speaking, and it's clear that she's not listening to you for a moment. Sorry, what did you say in the second half? I'm asking you that, not her. Well, I mean, she might ask you that as well.
I was like, what good is a library with only 10 books when it could have hundreds of thousands? There's always more to learn.
Yes, that's true.
But we've dallied long enough. We've traveled far, and these are my companions. There's Githrix, Dustbraid, and there's Godric and Tanira. And yeah, we have, as I said, we have here because home was attacked by dragons, and we have experience with dragons. And wyverns, drakes, all manner of things.
Was it a joke?
A joke? Oh,
Wyverns?
Yes, it was a joke. Oh,
Yes.
I cannot add jest to things, I suppose.
She wipes her brow and says, yes, a jest. Your time abroad has left you much changed.
Oh, always been this unusual, but perhaps my etiquette for home is a little lacking. I will endeavor to improve it if it puts people at ease.
I would not presume to tell you what etiquette you must undertake, just to make sure that I am understood.
Yes, but I also want you to be comfortable.
I believe you have inherited your father's wood elf humor.
I am very woodsy indeed. But speaking of father, I mean, do we know which direction he went? Have we had any new word?
You should speak with... So, the title I previously used for this individual is Mayor. But technically, in Elvish, it is Speaker for Things Which Live in This Valley, Which is Hidden for Our Safety. And their name is Rython. And we're going to use the word mayor rather than using a 18-part elven word, which I couldn't pronounce well.
It's Welsh.
There were vowels in it, though. It couldn't be Welsh.
Glendatha Nigihurivarden. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Right on the Glendatha Nigihurivarden. Just trail off. Well, Tyrell, we should go then. Care to join us?
I will continue to watch. There have been strange things happening.
Mm-hmm. If you see a humanoid wolf creature, kill it. Don't let it in.
A humanoid wolf creature?
Yeah, like a werewolf, a lycanthrope, a miscreant for sure. Don't let it in. Don't make any deals with it. Don't even talk to it. Just chase it away.
I see. This must be Canaan's star business. I will make sure the rest of the watch is informed to turn away wolf creatures.
Yes. They are not welcome here. Well,
Gives you one last strange look before her eyes dart around, and she continues to walk away.
it's fun to be home, my friends.
That whole
seemed odd.
conversation was in Elvish, by the way.
Yeah.
I speak Elvish.
Yes.
Do not.
That's right. She didn't like my joke.
Probably not the welcome you expected.
No. Things are much changed here. I was hoping to bring you to a much more jovial place, but
Did you find out what your father is?
no, we have to go talk to someone else. We have to talk to Rython, the mayor.
Right.
You know,
Well, okay.
Yes, let's head that way then.
Lead the
Does the
way.
grass ripple in that direction?
No, the grass doesn't ripple in that direction, but you do make your way to the center of town where there is a living tree which a house has been built around. House is perhaps easier to say. It is sort of hill, which has a residence in it. Rython is sitting underneath the boughs of this willow tree, composing poetry, while seated on like a marble, almost Romanesque bench. Is incredibly pale, pasty, elven white skin, has very visible over like a toga and sandals as he is just composing in Elvish. He's like, yes, often my mind wanders in these recent days. What fate awaits us all? Our race, once immortal, now simply long-lived compared to others. My mind quickens at the thought of death and destruction, which has so often beset our valley as of late. Tears filled with the twinkling of starlight run down one side of his face as you approach.
Well, he sounds like fun.
This might be a bad time.
I reach out and collect one on my finger.
Adding to my notes that he's a crybaby.
Daughter of this valley, daughter of Rudra and Enlai Yalvalra, Guineria,
Bless you.
you have returned.
Yes, hello. I have indeed.
You received my letter.
Yes, and I hold it up and I shake it.
You arrived much sooner than I expected for one traveling through the south of this world.
For me, it's much later than I would have hoped, but I am here.
Very well. I am afraid you have caught me at a bad time. The mood that has taken me is both grim and morose.
No.
You could wait but one turning of the sun and moon. Tomorrow, I may be better fit to speak to you. Passing of your mother and father from this place. Come now,
Well.
blessed of the Canaan star. Are you truly in such a rush? You are many days behind your quarry. Will but one day drive you forward faster? I am composing the most subtle and divine of poetries, allowing myself to celebrate misery. Such inspiration will not come often in what remains of my lifetime. I have but perhaps 2 centuries left to live. Would you steal such time from me?
All I would like is a place for my companions and I to rest while we wait for your inspiration to shape itself onto the page.
Of course. We have repaired much of the damage to your family's ancestral home. I believe it should suffice to keep the wind and the rain from you.
That would be wonderful. Will you meet us there then, tomorrow?
You should
Upon
come here
the
tomorrow. I think that I will not move from this spot.
Do you need anything brought to you, any provisions, or are they mere distractions to your creativity?
Do you have any wine?
We can send for some wine.
I see that among your companions, you have a dwarf.
Yes.
Master Dwarf, have you any dwarven beer? Does he speak Elvish?
No, but I will translate.
No. I speak his language. Hi, Master Dwarf. Do ye have any good draught on ye?
He sounds just like you.
Looking to get summer beer in me belly. You seem surprised. I thought that my accent had developed well among my many years, but it seems as if I may have offended him with my mastery of the dwarven tongue. Perhaps my speech is too ancient for him to understand. You should translate for me.
In common.
He
I don't
sounds
know.
just like you.
In common. Easy. Godric, I apologize. I apologize for this morose old fool.
Don't
I'm sure he
apologize.
was-
That was beautiful.
Tell him his accent is too nasally. He's speaking too much through the nose.
I relay the information.
He begins weeping again from the other. That I should spend so many hours of my time in mastering the dwarven language, and yet all it brings me is sorrow and offense to those whom I would placate. What is
I
the
don't think he's
purpose?
offended. I think he's amused.
What is the purpose of the pursuit of knowledge if it can only be used to hurt others? No, that sounds wrong.
Just keep pursuing. That is the goal. Once you've pursued and perfected everything, then there is no purpose. So it is good that you need to continue developing the skill less nasally.
Is
You'll get
this
there.
your advice as Quineria, daughter of Enlai Yalra and Rudra, or is this the advice of Quineria of the Canaan Star?
Oh, of the Canaan Star, absolutely.
Very well. Then rather than throw your advice out as the triple travel of a youngster who doesn't know what she's talking about, I shall change my entire worldview to match what you have just said.
No
I must
need to do
begin
that.
a new poem now. He takes the paper that he's writing on, he crumples it up, and he eats it. This is the taste of failure.
Are you sure he's all right?
No, he's never been all right. We
This
will come
is
see
a
you
little odd for Rython.
Yes. We'll come and see you tomorrow.
I wish
have
that I
many
could help you
questions.
now, but I am indisposed.
I don't think I have any dwarven beer on me, but I think he sounds like he's had a few too many already.
Can't believe there's a dwarf that's saying someone is too drunk.
Off.
A
drunk for an elf.
non-dwarf is too drunk. That's the difference. Very well then, my friends. Come with me. Let us find my home. It'll be
Does this
empty.
place have like a general vibe of malaise and ennui?
Make an insight check.
Damn,
You
having two
sure we
monitors.
can't just make him tell us where he is? We have to wait till tomorrow. Nice.
Hey. 17. 23, sorry.
There are
23.
some people, James, that say that you can't smell someone's fear. And there are some people that note that when your adrenaline is dumping through your body and the salts and bacterias of your body mix, there can be a unique, distinguishable by animals, scent of fear. As a ranger keenly attuned to the wilds, you sense an undercurrent not of malaise, but of fear from those that you pass. Everyone around you is afraid of something, except you and your companions. But with a
So it's
23,
not directed at us. Okay.
your horses are also afraid.
Okay.
My horse are
Must be the dragon.
I will cast Speak with Animals and ask the horses what they sense.
Okay. Is there a particular horse you're going to, or are you going to all
We'll
four?
start with my own.
Okay. Your horse
Oh, yeah.
is just like, oh, neighbor, how's it going? Hi.
Are you okay? You seem unsettled.
Oh, it's just all the singing. It's pretty loud. You seem pretty calm for the horrible screeching that's happening right now.
I don't hear any singing.
You don't? Yeah, it's pretty weird around here, man. He looks at the other horses. They all or neigh and stamp in place, and one of them just like, "That's right, partner. I'm also getting that kind of vibe." One of the horses goes, "Yes, I too believe that this. It's just off key. My master would never sing like this." And then one of the horses is just like, "Whatever, I don't even care." Okay.
The horses all seem to think they hear a screeching singing sound that's putting them off.
Unusual. Some hidden language that our ears can't quite hear.
I wonder if this place, you have a sacred role in this place, right?
Yes.
And that first song you sung was not your best work.
No, I sang it like I did when I was a child. I probably should not have done.
Do you think maybe that your contribution could have had some impact on the general vibe here?
Possible.
Just to be clear, in plain language, James just said that Gwineria is harshing everyone's vibe.
Yeah.
That's right, yes. Only because when she rolled the thing, Arthur rolled a bunch of dice.
Yeah.
You do recall that, didn't you? Nice
The
metagame
wedding.
there, but I'll allow it. I'll allow it for this situation.
That is an excellent observation, Piptrix. Perhaps I will have to prepare a better performance and reset the tone of things. We can do that from the house.
You head to your house?
Yes, please.
Word is spreading ahead of you that you have returned. Elves are singing to each other of the return of the Canaan Star, that you are returning to your house. You can hear people speaking, not in rhyming couplets, but instead just short poems to each other, 2 to 4 lines. Most of it includes, "Yes, Gwineria is back, and this is how I feel about it." When you arrive at the familiar-looking massive tree, you notice the slight pond, in the center of which is your, well, it used to be your mother's circle, but I suppose it's your circle now, lined in stone, which has been flattened through centuries of use, and then chalk drawn on it, so that she might see the stars and communicate directly with the Canaan Star, using powers that perhaps you have yet to fully unlock. Whatever fey power your mother had, it was certainly much stronger than what you have now, but she was no bard either. You do see signs of things like the part of the tree where your father carved a love letter to your mother when they were centuries younger. Part of the tree has been burned. And the front of your house looks like a dragon landed on it. The furniture inside is mostly unharmed. Some of it has clearly been sung back using the mending spell, sung back into place. Simple tarp of like leathers and woven grass has been laid as like a blanket over your house so that water won't get inside and you won't have exposed. But it essentially looks like the elven version of a disaster recovery zone. It's a real fixer-upper right now. But all of you can tell going inside, there's a cozy attitude in here. It definitely feels lived in to some extent. There is a painting of like a Indian, and I mean that in the Indian subcontinent, wood elven man with like dark skin who's like, like this. And there's like an octopus climbing on his arms. And then there's this painting of a woman that looks surprisingly like Gwineria, but slightly taller, slightly more elegant. There are several depictions of Gwineria herself around the house, but you're also seeing a lot of like animal holes. Like they're just random windows that are squirrel sized. They're just like bird houses next to, like, close to the ceiling in several rooms. It seems pretty obvious that some sort of ranger definitely lives here and regularly calls upon animals to help him with tasks.
Is there clearly a home for the octopus?
Yes. It is a giant vase, and the vase has like different colors and textures on it at different parts. So part of it is clear, and then part of it is like made of clay but fitted together with the glass, and then part of it is made of like stone, but again all fitted and sealed together so that the octopus might have many different shapes and textures to imitate as it moves around stealthily.
And a rack nearby for 7 knives?
You remember that? Indeed.
Well, this is my home. Yes, I don't think it's done so well with the dragons, but you're my friends and you're most welcome here. I think I will need a few moments to just investigate and explore, see what provisions we have. Let me just sit, relax, put yourself at ease. Yeah.
I did mention that some things were left for you. It looks like the baker, Losel, has left you a pallet of dozens of elven waybreads. Other than that, it looks like most provisions have rotted here. No one has been by to take care of them. Almost all of the long-term stuff is gone. It looks like, you know, you see some Wonder Meal and such like scattered on the floor in the pantry, which would be unthinkable except if someone removed it in haste.
Things were on fire and everyone cleared it out. I don't know. No elven wine kicking around.
I feel like there might be a few good vases of elven wine left. You know, like sealed jars of elven wine with like a clay cork or something.
Yes. Well, I wanted to grab one of those and share it with my friends.
Aged 20 years. It was cast almost 150 years ago. It's got, you know, it's like a memorial for the Empire's final agreement with the Hidden Valleys. Give it to a war hero and further pass along to your father. You're like, all right, let's just like uncast this real quick.
We're heroes. We deserve it.
Has such a subtle nutty flavor to it when you drink this like dark red wine. It has a magic to it as you're drinking it, and it's absolutely made for sipping. I'm saying that looking at two members of the party who love to describe themselves drinking voraciously like fish.
Yeah.
It's a sipping wine. Sipping.
I was not told that at first, okay?
That's the first thing I said after describing that the wine existed.
You said Gwyneira didn't say it.
I let Senora take a big gulp and then it's like, sip it. Just sip, slow, enjoy.
Gross.
It's
Elvish
older than my
things
grandfather.
are spread out over time. Just, yes. So everything is weird here, and everyone is weird. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, they did just have a dragon come into their town, so probably not the happiest moment for them.
No.
The
not.
letter mentions that a wing of dragons, more than one, came through the town. Just to be clear, it was a full attack.
Many dragons.
When you say they're acting weird, are they acting weird towards you, or are they acting weird just in general?
I would say both.
I mean, have you seen this? We're not the, you know.
I mean, they're
The everyday
weird
crew.
towards all of us as a group, but they were hesitant. I mean, it's hard to notice, but there are just these little subtle differences. And if the animals are hearing this screeching sound, well, I don't know. I'm wondering, as a player, what? If I use comprehend languages, would I be able to somehow tune in to this screeching sound? Would I be able to detect it somehow? Could I use magic?
Got him.
If you cast a spell, I will let you make an Arcana check.
Okay.
Ooh, our favorite check.
I will cast it ritually as well. I will take a whole bunch of time. I will leave my friends to drink and I will go and set myself up.
You know what? Before you make this roll, let me add that all of you have inspiration for your actions over the last arc.
Oh,
Nice.
Use it wisely.
Don't use it on my very first check. The way
when in doubt, this show, it's Arcana check.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I will take the time to do a ritual casting of comprehend languages and attune myself to my surroundings and try my best to tune in to the source of this screeching.
Just look at the world around you. Right here on the valley floor.
Oh,
16.
You
a
do not
9.
hear any screeching. You don't hear any weird noises. I mean, you certainly are not unaware that dogs are known to hear things that humans can't, so are deer. Elves certainly have a broad spectrum, but it's almost certainly possible that there are things that you are not capable of hearing.
Can I hear it?
Do you have comprehend languages?
No.
Okay. You want to make an Arcana check?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe you'll roll a 20.
You don't hear anything.
So, I am going to cast Beast Sense, which allows me to perceive through a beast's eyes or hear what it hears.
Loophole.
I will ritually cast it
Very well.
on one of the horses.
So, I mean, Godric are just like snacking for now while they ritual cast their spells.
Just break off some whey bread, dip it in the wine, and it'll be great.
All right, have your way.
Okay, so while you're doing this, you are blinded and deafened to your own surroundings.
Yes,
Um,
I'm
well-
going heads down with one of the animals.
I was going to say, while James is doing that, can I help him with the ritual and give him guidance while I'm helping him?
Yes.
Fine, just me then.
Just you and the bottle of wine.
Perfect.
I am
Empty when
holding,
we get back.
Love it when a plan comes together.
I'm holding a D20 and I am rolling it behind the Gamemaster screen.
It's pretty nice. You get that dice on Etsy?
We still hear the dice roll, by the way, through Foundry. We just don't see it.
Yeah.
But I'm making sure the audience also understands.
okay.
Understands
Listen,
that it's
I have
not
to be
visible.
performative here,
We
okay?
appreciate it.
You, for the briefest of moments as you inhabit the horse, you think that you hear something, but then you're like, nope, I don't know what the source is talking about. I don't hear it. The only thing you hear is like the rest of your party members snacking on the remains of Cornelius' house and the creak of the floors and the other horses nearby. You know, you turn your horse head and you go to look at yourself, putting a hand on your own head. It's
Yeah,
odd.
I have no control. It's just whatever
right,
the beast
like your
sees,
body is
so,
just stuck there, putting a hand on the horse.
Yep. All
It
right,
is
I'll end this.
certainly you have such a weird feeling actually, just looking up at yourself. This whole experience has been a little unnerving.
I think a horse looks down to the halfling, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll buy that. That's true. It's huge, enormous horse mouth turns down to look at you.
All right, I'll let the spell go then. It didn't help.
I can't speak with animals, but I'm going to try to soothe one of my horses and just pet him and ask why the long face.
The horse
Thank you,
shivers,
Emo Phillips.
looks at you, and then he bumps into you with his head.
Can I still, because it's less than an hour past since I can't speak with animals?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he saying anything that's relevant?
I mean, they're all talking to each other. They're just like, man, I want to get into that whey bread. And, you know, one of them's just like, whatever. Like, the grass here is fine, I guess. I mean, it tastes of sweet dew and honey or whatever. But if you want to eat human food or, like, elven food, I guess, like, I'm just going to eat the grass, though, because I'm not like the rest of you. I'm like an outsider.
Is the emo edgelord horse my horse?
No, it's Tenere's horse.
Okay. That fits. That tracks.
Yeah. All right, well, I think I'll grab some food for the horses then.
What are you feeding them?
Well,
One of the horses seems pretty insistent on eating the sweet grass.
Yeah, okay, well, that's fine. But, I mean, if I come over with some whey bread, will that horse, you know...
Yeah, I mean, if everybody else is doing it, that horse will also do it.
Yeah.
That's it, yeah. That's
just
what I
like,
thought.
I mean, if this little creature is going to offer me some, I guess that, like, I'm not going to... Oh, who would let this go to waste? Like a fool. Only
Just a nice palate cleanser before I go back to my
exactly
grass.
Yeah, the sweet grass. Yeah, I mean, the horses are having a little bit of small talk that revolves around the following topics. Not a lot of work today. Everybody around them seems nervous. The noises are horrible, and it's going to be difficult to sleep. Fifth topic, occasionally it comes up in that they are intelligent, but they're not like super intelligent. So they rotate through those 4 discussion topics like NPCs. Occasionally, one of them will comment on how sweet the grass is here, though.
All right. Well, back inside them.
Done with your rituals.
I'm done now. I tried to see if I could sense what the horses were sensing, but there was something there, but it just, yeah, whatever it was, I couldn't pick it up.
Well, I don't know what happened, but all this wine is gone. Bread was delicious, though.
And then Godric pulls out his tobacco box and just starts smoking. Mind you, he's smoking while his armor is smoking as well.
And I'm smoking next to you while you're smoking while your headpiece is smoking.
I'm ill at ease.
Is it the smoke?
It is not the continuous smoking. It is fine. It is a wonderful blend of subtle scents. Something is wrong. Something feels wrong. I just wish I could have... No, not wish. Don't use that word. It would be nice if I could discern what plagues these people in the aftermath of this dragon attack. Did something remain? Some curse upon them? Something hangs heavy here, and
So the mayor before asked us to come back tomorrow. Like, maybe everything will change given a night's rest. Maybe there is some sort of pattern or cycle to this malaise.
Maybe, and hear me out. If a bunch of dragons came through, do you think one of them dropped something from its hoard here and tried to spread the dragon curse?
Good idea.
not greedy, but there certainly seems something that influences them. I have several thoughts, but I think they may have to wait for the morning. For now, I think that I will retire and I will practice my performing.
I definitely want to stay up for a little bit and just kind of keep watch to see if anything happens. I don't know. I just kind of feel uneasy at the moment.
I think,
I would like everyone to roll. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Godric stays up with Tanira for a little while, just like meticulously cleaning armor and weapons and such.
I would like all of you to roll a d20 except for Tanira and Godric. Roll 2d20, and I need you to verbally announce the highest roll to everyone. Those of you only rolling 1d20, just say it out loud.
Oof.
So 5 is my highest. 3 and a 5.
5.
15.
19.
Oh,
That's quite good.
So, was I supposed to roll 2d20 or 1d20?
Everybody except for the two who are staying up roll 2d20.
Me and Godric are rolling 2, and you guys are rolling.
Tanira?
Yes.
What was your
We'll find out
highest?
what these roll mean after after the break.
No. We're doing this one before the break, Godric.
oh.
You wake up the next morning. You are in the tree above the house. You've fallen asleep here. Carved into the wood, there is a message written backwards. You've chiseled things before, and you believe that this is in your hand, and it says backwards, "It's watching."
I see this up in the tree.
Mm-hmm. You see it. It's directly next to your right hand. You have a chisel in your hand, and next to that chisel is a message carved into the tree backwards. It says, "It's watching." And that's where we're going to take our break. We'll be back in about 5 minutes for the middle part. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We'll get to that break, the most important part.
Commercial.
We're back from the break. Just to make sure you all understood what I was talking about, check our Discord channel where I've included the text. It is, of course, written in Dwarvish, not Common or Elvish, and it is carved deeply into the tree. Okay. All of you wake up.
I think while Godric is serving breakfast to everybody, that's when he tells everyone that there was Dwarvish carving in what looked like my handwriting, right?
You're saying this aloud to us?
Yes. I'm telling all of you what I saw when I woke up while I'm feeding you.
You don't think they wrote it in the wood because they didn't want to speak it?
Well, it's my handwriting, so I'm thinking I did it.
Oh, so it was you?
I also don't know how to climb a tree, so I don't know how I got up there.
Oh.
It's actually not that difficult to get up there. You know, you walk around the side of the hill that the house is built into. You walk out onto the tree limb. That's not. It's weird, but that's certainly not the weirdest part.
I can show you how to climb a tree, though, if you like.
If you're the one that carved it, shouldn't you know who the one that's watching is?
I mean, I don't know who's watching. Someone's watching.
So something's definitely affecting minds.
That, or do you think everyone knows something is watching, and that's why everyone's on edge?
Probably. That would be my guess.
I suspect that we'll go back to Rython, and despite whether the mood for creating some morose bit of poetry is over or not, we will get some answers.
After breakfast, then?
After breakfast, then, yes.
I want to write a little note before we leave breakfast to go talk to him.
While we're cooking, I want to make use my chef skill to make those cookies that give 10 hit points. I'm going to give one to Gwyneria and one to Kithrix.
It's for the wine, wasn't it? I didn't share any with you. Yeah, the note's just going to say like who's watching. So when we get to them, and if he doesn't want to talk about it, I can hand it off to him.
In what language?
Yeah, I was going to say, what language are you writing it in?
Probably common, because that's the only one I know.
Okay.
Besides Draconic, maybe.
Do you want me to write it in some the other languages underneath?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you could write it to him since you know Elvish.
Okay. Who's
I'm
watching
just-
you?
I'm
Elvish,
just- yeah.
Sylvan, not
I mean, the
Draconic.
fact that we're talking about it right now probably means there's some percentage chance of them actually knowing that we're watching now. So,
You know what? If they're watching, let them know that we know. Let them bring battle to us. We'll handle it. Why? Because then it's done.
I like the way you think. I knew there was a reason we got
cook.
along.
You're rubbing off on me, Godric. This is good.
How would that affect on people? Time will tell if it's for the better or for the worse.
I'll go out as well and cast Speak with Animals again and just ask the horses how they're feeling that morning. Give them some breakfast as well.
Okay.
With
Your
some
horse.
some oats. We can give
Yeah,
them.
your horse is just like, oh, oats. Okay, we're doing tasty today. All right. Yeah, I mean, you know, it was tough sleeping. We were all having trouble because of the screaming. It's not great out here.
So it was all night long?
It's been more or less constant. It did stop very briefly in the middle of the night.
Okay. Well,
The horses look tired. Like,
Yep.
they look like horses that have been up all night.
Okay.
they're taking a lot of Aloy's
I
exhaustion.
think if I see the horses like this, I'm gonna see if I can find like an apple and quarter it and give each of them a piece of the apple.
Okay. Yeah, they all devour that apple.
Guess I'll
Horses
go with
love
Quiniria.
apps. Snacking on
Yeah,
those
they do.
apps all day.
You ever seen a horse prance? I used to
Yes.
bring old apples to horses. And they would prance.
My friend, I've seen dressage. I would like Kithtrix and Guineria to make a nature check real quick.
Okay.
20.
Right, roll.
20 and a 23, people.
3.
Look at
Guineria,
that.
you're used to there being many small creatures running through your house, mostly to mate with your dad, because, you know, he
Mhm.
was like their cool human friend or cool elf
Yep.
friend.
Mhm.
There's nobody living in these birdhouses. No one's crawling into your house to say hello. There's not even like insects eating all of the stuff that's in your cupboard that's just lying out in the open, rotting. Kithtrix, you're noticing the same, but it applies to the entire valley. You don't know that like there should be such a low animal population here for sure, but there are very few songbirds. There's no like pets running around. The only horses you've seen are your own.
Because I was thinking about taking the horses out to try and see how far out this effect goes, but it sounds like if it's the whole valley, it could be quite a ways. I mean, the horses are going to become fatigued pretty quickly if we keep them here under these circumstances, and if we can solve the problem.
We're going to solve
Should we
the
go-
problem.
Yeah.
Should we go back and speak to the mayor?
I figured while you guys were doing that, Quiniria and I could just go talk to him real quick.
Well, we're doing what?
Feeding the horses.
Oh, okay.
Oh, let's all go. Let's all go together. We will wait. Actually, I have an idea. I would like to do a test.
Yes.
So, as a bard of my middling level here, I have counter charm. So anything What does it say? You and any friendly creatures within 30 feet that can hear you gain advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if I can do this around the horses while the feeding goes on, and if I could practice my counter charm and see if the horses have any different reaction.
You enact a counter charm. They do not appear to act any differently, but make a performance check real quick.
Okay. Whoop, wrong window.
And I'm curious, what are you using to perform this counter charm?
I probably would use my sham little clarinet. Oh, it was on a 20! And it rolled back. Oh. I break the reed, let's say that, yeah.
I mean, you still have your inspiration, right?
Yeah, can I use my inspiration? Do
Of course.
that again?
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do. Thanks. Let's re-roll that.
No.
Only a 10. Not much better, but at least up to a 10. At least up to a 10.
Well, but that said, the rest of you are listening to Guineria's song. It's not as good as normal, and it leaves all of you on edge, actually. There's something unusual, almost eerie about her song.
I think it's definitely not
Don't
right
like it.
at home.
All right, let's go talk to this guy. Get the hell out of here.
You head back to the center of town. The sun has not yet risen above the mountains. It is dark and cold, but not pitch black and chilly. You see that Raython is still lying on his fainting colonnade, his marble couch, and sees you approaching and says, "Ah, Guineria, daughter of this village. I remember that you said you were going to come back to speak with me this day. What questions do you have?"
Many, many questions.
But before that, we did find this letter around the house. I believe it's addressed to you. Guinera, you have that, right?
Oh, yes. I show him what says who's watching.
Just
In multiple languages, it says who's watching.
Yes, he's reading through each of the languages. I was trying to do like my head's going back and forth because he's still reading it over and over again to get each language. And he says, "I had not realized you had become such an accomplished linguist. Your handwriting is impeccable."
she's quite good, isn't she?
That is besides the point. It is a question.
Oh, who's watching?
Something
Who's
is going
watching?
on.
What?
Is this a play on words? Who's on first?
I don't know.
What is
They're
first?
Marthon, things are wrong here. Things do not feel as they should. In the aftermath of this dragon attack, this wing of dragons that came here, something is wrong.
Yes,
Or
the dragons
animals.
that came and took your mother.
Yes, something is wrong. Something has been left behind. Some sort of presence, force. It's throwing
Can
off.
I
everyone
insight
and
check this
everything.
guy? See if like he is. She said that he was acting weird, and I'm really debating whether or not
Weirder
this guy
than
is
normal.
actually a dragon or an elf because I don't know how dragons work.
Make an insight check.
All right.
I am holding a d20 and rolling it behind the Game Master screen. You believe that this individual sitting here is a very stressed out, hasn't slept enough, extremely sad elf, as far as you can tell, with your limited regular
Ouch.
person senses.
This guy needs some wine. Well, that was a thing. Can you tell us where her father is, or are we just going to be here for a while?
How would I know where her father is?
Isn't that what you asked last time?
Well,
We
who
are trying to
asked
find
us?
her father, so that
I
we
have
can...
never met her father. Her father apparently passed through town sometime over a century ago and knocked up her mother.
What are you speaking of?
What are you speaking of? What are these
What is my...
games, Guineria? You come to me with some sort of piece of paper with weird question on it, but you can't explain the question to me. Now your friends come here asking cruel questions about your father that insult your parentage. All of us know that about the situation with your family. There's no need for your friends to mock you in front of you.
Which situation is that again?
Your merciless and cruel mockery of our beloved religious figure is most unwanted. But to clarify, I have never met the father of Quineria. Some passing, simpering fool who simply had a one-night relationship with her mother.
So you're saying that my father that I know as my father is not my true father?
Who do you think your father is?
Huh. But I had always supposed that Rudra was my father.
I don't know who that is.
I cast Dispel Magic on him.
Why are you casting magic towards me? Normally, it would
It
be
won't hurt.
considered...
It's not offensive. It is just sit still and be calm.
It would be polite to inform someone why you were casting magic on them. For some, it would be considered a grave offense.
I am simply removing any ill enchantments that might be upon you. Please be still.
I
Fluxy.
believe you know, daughter of this village, that enchantments would rest ill upon the brow of an elf.
It does not mean that we are immune to such things. Stand
I suppose it does
still.
not. He has made no attempt to avoid it. You've finished casting Dispel Magic on him.
This guy's really pissing me off.
Cast a spell. Okay.
Now, for most of this conversation, I've been assuming that Guineria is translating what Tanira is saying.
Yeah.
Did you translate that last part? Where Tanira said, this guy's really pissing me off?
Huh? What? Do I translate what... No, I don't say what Tanira...
Okay.
I don't translate Tanira's...
Okay.
That's why we're best friends.
What is she saying? I don't understand her common jibber-jabber. Why have you stopped translating her suddenly, after casting magic on me? The situation is very unusual.
She is unhappy with you. That is all that needs to be said.
What have I done to offer her offense? He begins crying.
Oh, God. We made the man cry.
You, Rython, stop. Focus.
He
Look
stops
at me.
crying.
Look
As he
at
does,
me.
his eyes glitter with galaxies as the tears begin to build up.
What is my mother's name?
Your mother's name is known very well to me. Her name is Enlai. She was once the blessed of the Canaan Star and was recently kidnapped by dragons.
And do you know which direction they took her?
Yes, they flew south.
Okay. Did anyone go after these dragons to rescue my mother?
He furrows his brow for a moment and he says, I think that several people who have left recently have gone after your mother, yes.
Did you send me a letter to explain the situation?
I have no memory of that.
Did the dragons drop or leave anything behind after their attack?
There was much that was burning in the valley. They took some goods. You say you have a letter from me.
You mentioned this yesterday. You don't remember it?
It must have slipped my mind.
No, something is very wrong here. Something is very wrong, Grython. And
You and your companions seem very disturbed.
We're not disturbed.
Have you been sleeping well? Do you need counseling or aid? I'm worried about you,
You need
Guineria.
counseling and aid. We have slept just fine, but we know something is amiss. We know something is watching.
Just calm down.
No.
There's no need to get hysterical.
I'm about to punch this man in his face.
There is much need to be vigilant at this time. And I do not think you understand the gravity of the situation. I do not think you...
We should always be vigilant against dragons, yes.
There's something more. Something remains. Something has addled your mind. It has spooked the horses. There are no animals here. There should be teeming with animals, and your memory is like grains of sand just swept away by the wind. You forget so much in such a short time. You need to focus, think.
No, you are acting very strangely.
No, I'm trying to bring you back to reality. Hello. Do you not trust me, as blessed as the Keened Star?
Make a persuasion check. And I'm going to roll behind the screen.
Where'd my character sheet go? There it is.
Arthur's drunk with power.
He's off the rails.
18.
Yes. You're right. Something is not just you. The animals. That is unusual. When did it start?
Yes. Tell me when.
Probably around the same time you lost your memory.
I must go and walk about the town, conversing with its inhabitants, finding where the holes are.
Do you wish us to accompany you? Keep you safe?
If you wish to accompany me, I would not say no. But there
Before
are
you
unusual times.
One. Yes. Well, they are indeed unusual times. I mean, there's a hunter with no rabbits to hunt.
I must recover Brithringer. He stands up for the first time in this conversation and begins walking down to the water. And he sings, and a staff comes out of the water, shining with starlight, and he grabs it and he says, "It's my walking stick. I enchanted my walking stick because I have that much free time." When you're an elf, you have both so much time and no time at all.
In common, I apologize to my friends for all of this.
Walking at the back of the group.
Group perception check to start with.
To start.
Oh yes, to start with.
This is the 5-course meals.
18 for me.
18 for me.
I got a 16.
Let's go us.
How badly did James roll to only have a 15?
Yeah, no. Only +9.
Now,
group plus 10.
insight check.
We all got to roll insight.
Mm-hmm.
18.
Well, I mean, you don't have to roll. If you don't want to roll, I'll accept your roll.
I'm gonna use my inspiration to reroll.
Ooh, look at Kithrax.
19.
Oh, actually, we roll pretty good.
I don't like this. I'm rolling too early into the game.
You all begin walking. And as you are walking, Rython speaks with several villagers. He stops and speaks with Tyrell, the watchwoman who you saw yesterday. He exchanges a series of ritual poems with Fairvelder the hunter. He frequents the bakery of Losil, who made the elven waybread pallets that all of you had some waybread from yesterday. He stops in and gets the local elven delicacy, which is cream cheese Danish. It's only made in this specific hidden valley.
Ooh.
Cream cheese is an elven secret that they have withheld from the rest of the world, but the cream cheese Danish is a delicacy specific to this mountain valley. He stops with Damrian, the silversmith, and they talk about how hard the loss of Damrian's husband has been for her. And someone somewhere is at the edges of your vision, Ithrix, watching your group. Your perception is not good enough to see them, but every time you catch some glimmer or glimpse out of the corner of your mind, you think that they are afraid and frightened. You can't fully get a look at their face or know much about them, but their body language, their facial structure seems to indicate that they are suffering from immense fear. And that keeps happening to you. You have no idea because you failed the perception check, but you passed the insight. You just keep getting brief glances, but by the time you've turned, whoever it is gone. All you know is that out of the corner of your eye, you see a fear. Someone who is afraid. It follows you between buildings, between walking paths, around a small copse of tree. It haunts you at the edge of your ability to perceive. I'm gonna take a drink while you guys think about that one.
Guineria, can you get me a Danish?
I can get everyone a Danish, yes. Hold on.
Thank you.
Would you like a dollop of bumbleberry jam on that? Or just plain?
However the locals do it.
Well, I prefer it with the jam, but the locals just usually have it with the cream cheese and a little honey drizzle. 2 for everyone, 1 of each.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And I start singing my counter charm as I go to get some lovely cream cheese Danishes. Half with bumbleberry jam, half without.
Go ahead and make a performance check. And I am holding a die in my hand.
I got to levelly bump a coconuts.
23, finally. 23.
Let's go.
23, huh?
Mm-hmm.
His dice is a D100.
I still have a 22% chance to succeed, though.
As you are singing, Guineria, Tanira, you see something in the corner of your eye. Someone has written something in blood in the bakery window. It says, it's eating them. And I keep forgetting.
Damn. That's what all the screams are.
As soon as you stop playing, Gwyneria, the window for both of you switches back to look like a normal bakery window with the rising sunlight reflecting off it.
I think the dragon's eating someone. Is that a things dragons do? Where did Kithrix go?
To check their internet.
Did we lose her again? She went back for more Danishes, didn't she?
Yes. Friends, there is a glamour, a spell, a curse, something hangs heavy in the air here, and
Blood.
If that were true, just to be clear, if your counter charm should have stopped it, it should have stopped it the first time. And whatever you think might have happened, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. You have no idea. Something strange is definitely going on here that is inconsistent.
We have to find out
where the source of the screams are,
or who is watching. What is it? Why does it watch? Does it create fear and then feed upon it?
It's maybe some kind of dragon fear or an actual something else. Kithrix, how did dragons
a large dragon capable of instilling terror into people would be noticeable if it were around. I mean, it would be quite large.
A very slight, willowy elven woman comes out. You recognize her as Losel from the bakery. She says, "Greetings, gathered guests. I hope that my use of the imperial language of the north is not too offensive to you. I've noticed you've been staring at my window for some time. Are you enthralled by the offering of tea leaves I have behind the counter? If so, I have brought you a pitcher of my finest southern iced tea. I make it like the Drow elves of the south prepare it, with extra sugar cane."
I was like, if it's not 90% sugar, it's not some tea.
We do not, of course, locally make our sugar teas this way. It is a Drow thing.
Lovely, thank you.
She begins pouring each of you a clay mug filled with the tea. It's got kind of a rich orange-brownish look to it. There's definitely some particulate floating around in there, and little shaved bits of ice.
Have there been any weird occurrences recently? Besides the dragons, I imagine.
Well, there are many people who have moved away from the valley or haven't been seen again. I believe that there are many who are fleeing this valley and its dragon problems. No one wants to live in a hidden valley that is no longer hidden. No dragon should have been able to penetrate this valley's magical defenses. Only those who know its location and are of elven blood should be able to enter into a hidden valley.
Did they all flee in the same direction?
I do not know where some of them have fled, but it would be ill-advised to travel north out of here. Even to travel south, you will enter a cold, freezing, desolate land.
What would we find if we traveled east?
A cold and freezing, desolate land, and you would find the same to the west as well. This valley is kept warm by the spirits of magic we have surrounded ourselves with, and with centuries and millennia of elven spellcraft laid into the foundations of the earth. As this person is talking, Kithrix, you very briefly see something massive moving in the ice. The ice is reflecting something behind you, moving.
It's something I can turn and try and spot before it passes, or
You turn. There's nothing there.
Mm.
Just open alleyway.
I might take a walk for a bit if you're okay. Everyone else?
We're
I'd like to come with you.
told by the crying man to go south.
Okay, sure, Godric. So I'm keen to split the party and see whether get a
Whether
sense
it
whether
goes
it's following
poorly for
us,
us?
following. Yeah, does the sense stay with both of us?
Very well.
It's always a good plan in D&D.
So, Tanira and Gwyneria are staying to enjoy some drow iced tea with Lahosel, while Godric and Hithrix are breaking off to do what exactly?
Just walk around, see if the sense follows us, or whether we feel like the sense has stayed with the other two, for example.
I see. You do continue to feel some sort of weirdness going on around you. And from around the side of a house, you can see a little elf girl, like, poke her head out and look at you and, like, gesture for you to come towards her before she disappears back around the house.
Oh, I'll definitely take the bait and follow that.
It's good. Split the party. What do you want to do?
I'm just curious, AP, because my armor is made of what was it, orichalcum, and that really ornate half plate. How reflective is it? Because
How reflective is it?
Yeah,
I'd say
I've been polishing it and stuff.
It's pretty reflective. Why? What do you want to do with it?
I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily like at a mirror sheen just yet, but you mentioned Kithric seeing something in the reflection of the ice. So I was curious if like she would spot something in the reflection of the of my armor. I have a pretty good idea what we're fighting, but I'm not.
Make a perception check.
You will also make a D100 check.
Perception.
Nice.
I got a 20.
Your armor is not flat, nor is it a mirrored surface in any way. But when you glance into it, one of the houses nearby looks as if it has been abandoned for many weeks. When you look up, it appears to be whole, hale, and hearty.
I want to like take out like a rag and just
let me say this.
Polish.
It's very Stranger Things upside down, but not that advanced, like not that horribly aged.
I just want to like really quickly like spit polish like a 5-inch circle on my armor and ask Kithric to just stare into it for a minute. And just ask her what she sees.
The kid. Did you see the kid?
I mean, I saw the kid, but I'm just asking if you can just look into this one spot on my armor and tell me what you see.
Sure. All right, I'll quick look.
Which way are you directing this armor? And to be clear, you cannot be perfectly exact with a rounded breastplate.
Yeah, no.
Gonna be fishing.
I'm just generally gonna have this one polished section in the direction the kid was beckoning us.
Okay. I mean, you don't see anything there in the reflection that isn't also there when you look at it. It looks like the edge of a building that the kid tucked around. You know what, Andrew? Why don't you send me on Discord what you think this is happening? I'm not going to confirm or deny it. I think you might be thinking the same thing as me, but I'm curious. Apparently, chat thinks that it's a moray.
That's some more.
Isn't that your cat?
Yes, that's my cat, Amore.
It's when the moon hits the sky.
Last thing that happened before you stepped away, James, was you looked into the mirror sheen and you saw nothing different about the corner of the building that the child disappeared behind.
All right, I need to step away for 1 more second. Sorry. This will be the last time.
Okay.
All good.
We're going to cut back to Team Sweet Tea then.
After they've gone for, a couple minutes, can I just motion to Guineria that we should end up kind of following them to see if maybe we can catch somebody that's trying to come up behind those guys that are walking away?
Mm-hmm. So Tanira, there's something unsettling. Something has been like a veil pulled over this place.
Yeah. People are kind of weird.
They are. This is not the home I remember.
Shall we? This tea's been lovely, but I believe we have to catch up with our friends.
Yes. Many thanks. We appreciate it. We will go now.
Step out, kind of see if we can discern which path they took.
You're going to try to catch up with everybody else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just keeping a watchful eye.
How about we follow and keep some distance so that we can observe?
Yeah.
In case it is some sort of trap or something tries to eat them, we can be nearby.
Are you engaging in stealthcraft?
Yeah. I think we can.
Sure.
All right. I need perception checks from Godric and Ithrix and stealth from Guineria and Tinira.
Gotcha.
Perception. Ooh. I'm going to use my my advantage to reroll that. Or my
You guys are
inspiration.
just blowing through that inspiration so fast.
How many inspirations do we have?
Or what was this for?
The Kithrix can see Guineria and Tinira are following you, and Godric does not.
Okay. I'm not
Sees
gonna blow my
everything. I'm not
inspiration.
surprised.
Yes.
Yeah, I won't blow my inspiration on this just yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
count it on
I mean,
Kithrix
if they're following
knowing
me for a reason, I'm not going to make a song or dance about it. I'm just going to go after the child.
Okay. Go after the child.
Yeah.
You are, of course, like a full 20 or 30 seconds behind because you did the whole mirror shear polish maneuver, but you continue on afterwards. You see that the child is in the shadow of a doorway, making hand gestures towards you that you believe might be sign language.
Who sees this?
I don't know
Godric
sign language, so
yeah, Godric and Kithrix see it. Just to be clear, you guys are further back, so you can't see it simply because you don't have an angle on it yet.
For sure.
I'll keep approaching. Does she do any sort of like be quiet symbols or anything like that, or just?
She holds up a sketchbook and gestures for you to come forward.
I will.
You speak Elvish,
I do.
Godric?
It's just a
Dwarf in common.
For you, Godric, what draws your attention is the depiction of like a 30-foot tall pale worm that's suddenly has like sprouts 3 heads from the top of it. But it also has like weird noodly tendril arms coming out of the ground near it that end in almost draconic, like a single claw. For you, Kithrix, you get the same, except there are also Elvish writing. Just to be clear, Godric sees the Elvish, but it's just foreign language to him. It reads, "Everyone is acting weird. It doesn't see this. Can you see it?"
Does she have like a pen or something I can use to write on the paper then?
She does
Or
hand you.
I'll just nod. I'll nod to indicate that I do see it.
All right.
Usually.
She flips the page to the next page, and it's filled with writing that says like, Rython, why don't you understand me? And then it says, why isn't anyone talking about old Meryl? And the page before it says, it took Damrian's husband last night, and now no one remembers him. Just, it looks like she's written messages to other people before, all over this page.
Yep. All right, I see it all.
You know what it sounds like when you've got tinnitus?
Yes.
Or when you lose one of those strands of hearing in your ear, you know, like that specific high-pitched whine.
Yeah.
Hithrix, you have that feeling right now.
Do you have a mirror? Can we have do you have a mirror, a hand mirror, something like that?
She flips 2 pages and writes down, the mirrors show the truth.
Because Godric, remember what you wrote in reverse, and I saw something in the reflection of the ice. You wanted me to look in the reflection of your armor. If we have a hand mirror, maybe we can see something that we can't otherwise.
She heads into the house.
I have one in my kit.
Quietly.
I'll follow her.
She goes to what appears to be her room. It looks like no one has lived here for some time, except for her room, which definitely looks lived in. It looks like the kind of house that a child with no parents desperately trying to keep up appearances, trying to make sure it still looks nice and failing, desperately failing to keep this place looking functional. But she stops at a beautiful dresser, which is sung directly out of wood, reaches inside and pulls out a small hand mirror with very expertly silver sheened reflection. And she hands it to you with tears in her eyes. And she writes in lipstick she writes on the wall, "Thank you for believing me."
Do you want to stay with us? We'll keep you safe.
Her eyes are filled with tears that shine like the moon as she holds a hand out for you to guide her, because she can no longer see through the tears.
I will lead her back to where the others were following us.
Godric,
and I'm going to be looking around with the mirror.
Tanira and you're like, huh?
Oh, hey guys.
You're taking a look around with the mirror?
Yeah, I'll ask her what her name is as well. She can write it down if she doesn't want to say it.
Make a perception check with advantage. She writes down in her little book, which she picks up on the way out the door. Her name is Grogani.
Oof.
It's a really, for those who speak Elvish, it's a really bad name because it means female child who cannot hear. It's a brutal name to give to somebody. 19? You use the mirror to look around. You are noticing that about half the houses here look different in the mirror. They are in various states of abandoned.
All right, I'll mouth to her. Can she lip read?
She nods.
Okay, I'll mouth to her that I can lip read too. So if she's having trouble, she can mouth what she wants to say to me, and I'll understand her if we're looking at each other. I'll pass the mirror around. Look, everyone, look in the mirror. Look around the houses, and you'll see what it's like.
All of you, as you use the mirror, begin to get that feeling of tinnitus, sort of buzzing noise in the back of your mind at all times.
I have ADHD. This is everyday life.
Something was left behind.
Curse,
We
maybe?
have to find out where it is. And
So
we have to
this
cut
little
it to
girl
tiny little
is-
pieces.
This little girl is deaf, which means she's not affected by it. But the fact that we can now hear something means that we're probably likely to be affected by it eventually too.
But yeah, that's true.
The longer we're here,
We can.
the more
She
we
holds
try.
up the piece of paper and says, if you see something different in the mirror, I think you are affected by it already.
Hey,
I think we can test the hearing thing if we want. Like, try to plug the horse's ears and see.
No, I have an easier way. We don't have to plug the horse's ears.
Okay.
I could just cast silence. Pretend.
You're casting silence?
I don't know. No, before I do,
Oh.
do you want me to cast silence here, or do you want me to cast silence by the horses so that the horses also
I
get
mean,
hurt?
if the horses are affected, then most likely we're going to be affected. So
I think we should silence ourselves and just use the note paper to
yeah,
communicate for the next few minutes.
Let's have 10
while
minutes.
we see what the effect is.
We can have 10 minutes of silence to figure this out. Maybe we can figure out where this thing is, but that's 10 minutes of silence. We should make sure we barricade ourselves in. No one can come after us. We won't be able to hear anyone coming. Someone will have to stay watching any entrances. Can we do this? What say you, friends?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always cancel the spell,
I can.
concentration-based
True.
spell. So
Mhm.
if
Okay, gather close.
I can lip read. So
Okay. Gather close.
All right.
Let's have the book ready.
What point are you casting the silence on?
I'd like to cast it on myself as the center, and it'll fill the whole house. It's a 20-foot sphere.
Well, you went outside to start with because you were using the mirror outside. But if you want to go back into her house, you
I
can.
would say, yeah, I'd like to go back into her house when this happens.
Okay. Yep.
Secure, defensible
So you
position, just in
can't
case.
cast silence on a person or object. It is
I drop a coin and cast it on the coin.
you can't cast it on the coin,
object.
but you can cast it above the coin. Like if you pick the coin
Yeah.
up, silence will not walk with it.
No, I don't want to move. I just want the silence to be stationary
Understood.
on my position.
That's what I'm saying
no.
is the silence is stationary. You cast it around
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Immediately, all of you notice that the house that you are in looks bad. You thought it looked ill-maintained before. It looks bad in here. There's also an elven arm that's just like bloodily and rotting on a staircase next to a closet. There's like an under staircase closet, very Harry Potter style. There's like decay and rot everywhere. The house looks like it hasn't been maintained in like 60 or 70 days after the site of some sort of major conflict in here.
can I go over to the closet and see what's in it?
Sure. You want to open the closet?
Yeah.
A ton of like debris and rocks and dust pours out, and as you push through it, there is a hole punched through the floor into a tunnel that runs underneath this house.
I think I found something.
No one can hear you say that. And with that,
what's the girl doing right now?
we're going to take our final break when we return to the Elven Hidden Valley.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
Will you solve the mystery?
Or at least have a lead as to where to go to solve the mystery.
Okay.
Yeah. But they would have got away with this too if it wasn't for these kids and their stupid dragon.
Mm-hmm. We're back. What do y'all want to do?
So I think that we talked about briefly, like trying to just plug our ears, etc., trying to find anything we can to. Well, first off, what's how does a girl like? Does she seem to see everything the way that things are seen? That we're seeing it right now because she is deaf.
Are you asking her?
Yeah, I'm going to ask her. Like, do you see that?
She
that
tries
arm
to
there,
lip read
for
you
example?
and then writes just like, yes. I believe that it is my father's. I didn't want to move it.
I'm sorry.
I didn't want to move anything. It comes.
All right. I'm going to try and grab like some cotton wool. I think she's got that in her makeup kit, and maybe some honey if they've got that in something to try and make like some ear.
Unsurprisingly, honey is a local product.
Yeah.
Yeah, you stuff up your ears. Sure.
Yeah. And I'll indicate everybody to like wait a moment, and I will try like just with this manufactured deafening step outside of the sphere of the silent spell and see if that it has to be magically deafened, or will just being naturally deafened allow us to
when you step outside the silent sphere,
the sound.
Nothing changes for you.
Yep.
Everything still
cool.
Anything that looks creepy is still creepy looking.
Okay.
Thanks, I hate it.
So I'll help anybody else that wants it to make up a similar set of earplugs. It's disgusting, but it'll do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're going down the hole.
Yeah.
Right, I'll write. I ask to borrow the girl's book for a second and write to the others. Should I bring Sparky?
Not yet.
Okay.
Too dangerous.
Pithrix, this tunnel is just the right size for you to walk up right in. Somewhat comfortably. For everyone else, I'm going to need a athletics check at disadvantage.
Oh no.
Oh, athletics. Why couldn't it ever be acrobatics?
I'll accept that. You know what? I'll
Yes.
accept that as an alternative. Still disadvantage.
Damn.
That's fine. Okay. Oh my god. 1 plus 6 is 7. Oh, my back hurts.
Look at Godric Stealth Ninja here.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose it's strength, isn't it? Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's all strength.
Guineria, you are unfortunately the tallest member of the party. And the largest. I don't mean like you're wider than everyone else, but you are simply physically larger. There's more of you as a high elf, and you are forced to crawl on your hands and knees. Everybody else is getting in some pretty decent squat work here, but they more or less can balance themselves on the walls.
This is my life. This is I'm used to this.
It's actually a little too squat for you in here. It's not good. It feels bad. You begin noticing discolored patches of earth. Stuff that's a little bit lighter colored, a little bit white colored. Kithrix, because you are not only in front, but your passive perception is like a 24, right? It's just absurd.
Yep.
Sounds about right.
And I've got dark vision now too.
Yeah, with your goggles of night. Yep. Yeah. You're noticing some odd patches, and then you believe that this tunnel is intersecting with another tunnel. Both of them are beginning to move downwardly, but another tunnel comes in from the side. What do you do with all of this knowledge that I've just given you?
All right, I'm just going to turn around and try and write down for Godric. You know, can you tell what made this tunnel? Just mouth it to me.
Can I make a roll for that?
Arcana check. You need a 20.
Sheesh. You got this.
That's why I turned to the Arcana expert.
I have +0 to this, so I just needing that 20.
You need a natural 20. Yeah.
Need an
Oh,
You got it. No, you don't.
Well, there's a 2 in it.
12 is better than nothing.
This definitely isn't dwarven stone.
All right. So I think. So you say that there's an intersecting passage that goes up and down. Is that right?
The tunnel that you are in is slowly going downwardly. A second tunnel has intersected to go down. That tunnel goes back upwardly. And there are also discolored patches every few feet, unlike the walls and occasionally on the floor that are white, lighter or white in color than the soil around it.
I keep leading the group down by default then, unless anybody taps me on the shoulder and we change direction.
Can I tell if something made the white patches or if there's a difference?
Make a nature check.
Nature check. There it is.
Oh, nice.
Whatever you are hunting right now is a creature capable of the burrowing movement action. And you come to the chilling conclusion that while it moves this way, it's also intelligent enough that it is hiding its victims in the walls of its tunnels. You think that these might be crushed bone dust pressed into the wall.
My eyes go really wide for a second, and I try to catch up to Kithrix as fast as I can. Tap her on the back and like ask her to let me use the writing utensil.
As that's happening, I'm going to present you with something. You notice Gwyneria on the natural one acrobatics. But she's about to put her full body weight on it. And you're pretty sure that unless you act, that's going to give way and she's going to fall into a hole within this tunnel.
I'm going to grab her then.
Great. I'm going to need you to make a athletics check. No substitutions.
Damn. Check. Damn.
I'm going to give you a choice here.
Can I use my inspiration?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right, let's do it.
I gave you guys inspiration. You immediately just...
No!
I'm going to give you a choice. You can let her fall,
or
you can go in with her and try to use your slow fall to protect both of you.
That one.
Why are you wet?
Okay. What distance does your slow fall prevent damage for at your current monk level?
Let's see here.
Yeah, audience, for the folks at home.
Just
How you
says
guys
reduce
doing?
fall damage by 20.
Okay. Fall damage by 20 feet or 20 damage?
20 damage, I believe.
Okay. You completely negate the damage. Two of you fall for some distance in the darkness. And you hit... At first you think it's spears, but then you just realize it's someone's rib cage that has been strewn haphazardly, and then the ribs have been planted in the ground as if to be spears. But they shatter under both of your weights and your careful foot placement. Gwyneria, here's what happens from your point of view. You begin falling, and you don't know that Tanira knew what was going to happen and acted. For you, Tanira has reacted as fast as a snake, and the two of you fall together as she wraps you up, and the two of you just tumble into this hole together, and you both end up upside down, suspended by Tanira's spread legs, right above a pit of like 14 bodies.
So glad I bought shoes before I came here.
We'll throw down
Is it
one
look
end
like
of
it
the rope
was...
of climbing.
Okay.
And I'll speak the command word to make it turn rigid and have knots in it.
Okay.
Do we want to go down to them, or do we want to then bring them up?
I would indicate they should come up.
Okay.
I bought a rope. Let's do it. Is there like a rock or something nearby that I could use to kind of...
As a bonus action, you can just make the rope bring you up.
I do that then.
Okay. Brings you up. Both of you.
Well, it was either that or I was going to use a spell, but Let's save the spell.
It moves at 10 feet around, so it takes 3 rounds to bring you both up. It's just a slow, like... Now here's my question.
Just to play elevator music while it's going up.
Are you having the little girl follow you? Ghani?
Yeah,
I think that she's... I've kept it with me unless everyone else has insisted that we don't go, because we're using her book, bringing her along. I mean...
It might have been a good idea to like not have her follow down the tunnel with us. She seems to be doing okay on her own up there. I just feel bad, like we would purposely put her in harm's way to bring her down.
I say we would leave the choice to the girl.
The girl is... Grigani does not allow people who are finally listening to her to leave her alone.
Unless it's otherwise, I'm holding her hand in my left hand. So I haven't got my left hand free.
Good. Thank you, Jane.
Try to save you, James. Try to. I think we should keep going down instead of going up, unless there's some indication.
I do the universal sign. Are you guys okay?
What does that sign look like?
That's a thumbs up. You can the thumbs up with a questioning look on the face, you know. All right, and then I think we'll keep going down.
Good. You keep making your way deeper into the earth. More and more tunnels begin to connect. As you think, Godric, you think that this tunnel is spiraling down and down and down. And you're a dwarf. You're used to tunnels. You think that you might be almost directly beneath Raython's tree in the center of the valley.
I figured he'd be behind this.
The Yggdrasil serpent.
It's hard to tell just how deep you are, but it seems deep. The air has a different feeling down here. Everything has the stench of dead, rotting, unburied bodies. As the 4 of you spill out into an open hemispherical layer is the only possible word for it. I know we've all seen media with like comical piles of skulls and bones strewn about and like blood splashed everywhere. This is not a comedy. This is real. Something has created a mound of elf bones and a lake of stale, dried blood around it. And a creature, 30 feet tall, a large, sinuously moving, gray, pale worm with 3 faces at the end of its worm body. There's a mouth on each of the faces, and there are holes where eyes should be, but it is otherwise featureless and terrible to look upon. And it is singing.
I hate it.
Is violence the only option? I think so.
Yeah, I think violence is the only option.
Violence is the best
fire.
option for sure.
Does it seem like it notices we're there?
Hasn't stopped singing. When you look closely at it, Tanira, one of the head turns and its terrible eyes turn to look at you. Black, sockety, empty, with no orbs in them. And the song stops.
How far away is it?
Probably about 60 feet.
Ah, it's in range. I look to my companions really quick and glance.
Yep.
And motion my head.
You prepare to strike it in ambush. And from the ground beneath your feet and the walls behind you, white, thin tendrils that end in a dragon's claw spring around and go to envelop you from the sides, from below, from above. You are all trapped for a brief moment in a prison of flesh and claws. And with that, we're not going to roll initiative because we're not going to run the combat right now.
Oh.
Andrew, I want to thank you for playing along. You did know what this was, and I didn't want to spoil it for the rest of the party because it was so fucked up. I just want to ask, how are you all feeling right now? We'll definitely do this combat the next time we meet. I just don't want to get started now with, not enough time left.
Gotcha.
I was ready to just lightning bolt my way through everything as fast as possible. I knew there was something dropped here, a watcher in the water, if you will.
I was not expecting
Didn't know what it
any of
was. But I figured dragons could fly something in. It just seemed very Lord of the Rings-ish. Yeah.
They were flying the other hobgoblins in on the last time.
Yeah.
We're so fucked.
It's difficult to tell who knew what this was and who didn't, because it is known among game masters, but not known among everybody. I wanted to give you guys a good, authentic, paranoid terror scenario.
It started off really.
It's hard to tell
really
because
good,
look, for instance, James's expression hasn't changed for like 3 years, so it's hard to tell whether he was actually feeling horror or not. I mean, for Bearded, sure, that's an easy call, but
my people, my poor people.
Yeah, I definitely did not tell her about all the bodies in the wall.
She saw the body. She fell down with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
the
right.
two of you fell together.
So I didn't see. I don't know whether Bearded made his suggestion in Discord, but it's a false Hydra. Yeah,
It's a false Hydra. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you know what a false
Yeah,
Hydra is, James?
I knew about it beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't. It took me a long while. It took me into the description you gave of it to get it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. So, because I've never really, I'm aware of it. I've never really seen it in other stuff. I've used it myself. So,
yeah.
Well, James,
look.
I specifically selected this encounter to move much further forward in the timeline because during the wagon fight, you metagamed the spear. You were correct to do so. But you then lamented later on Discord and you were like, no GM ever calls me on my bullshit of looking monsters up. Which is why I took the false Hydra and wrote my own stats for it and presented it in a slightly different way. Just for you, James. I made this encounter just for you. I wanted you to experience terror. I want you to have some fun with this one so you didn't know what was going on.
I'm definitely a fan of the horror tropes, certainly in gaming too. So it had those good elements, the mystery, the aura of wrongness. You
guys press it so fast. Day 3 was going to be no one could remember Guineria's mother and she was always an orphan. Day 4, no one could remember the baker and the bakery went out of business yesterday, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You just had to check.
I've been hanging around these not clowns, these shorter-lived, impulsive beings, and so yeah, speed it up.
Glad we got there when we did. We wouldn't have gotten any pastries.
Fohammer says, I've never heard of a false Hydra. Now, after looking it up, I will live with nightmares. Perfect. You are welcome.
I wanted to see a false Hydra fight for a while just to see how someone would use the encounter, because
I'll be honest, you guys have your ears plugged. It's probably going to be very easy, but...
I was going to say, I don't think I'm a good enough DM to run a false Hydra encounter. And do you like the spooky shit you were doing beforehand?
I don't know.
Just
First
only
action
one way
would
to
definitely
know.
be to tell. Suggest Quineria cast silence on it straight away.
Just remember, you can't cast silence on it. You can only cast silence on a point.
Yeah, at a point, yeah. 40-foot diameter.
Yeah, but you know what's even better? A lightning bolt that'll just shred into it. Then I'll worry about casting silence.
Just become an invocation wizard. Got it.
if it starts regrowing heads, I'm out.
Any of our viewers on Twitch, you guys can go back and watch the video tomorrow on YouTube in about 1 hour, and you can see my face as I recognize what we're fighting.
No.
Well, let's talk outros. Or if there's anything you want to say about the other parts of the session that didn't revolve around the false Hydra. I
I like
you
the
know what?
personalities the horses got.
Oh, well, yes, I base the personalities on parodies of your own personalities, of course. But, I love that your commitment to not saying it was a false Hydra, Andrew, was to say, I knew it was Rython all along. I thought that was a great touch.
I couldn't tell if I liked this guy or if I didn't like him. He's one of those guys that's like, I think I like to hate him.
We all do.
But even after all this is done, I still want to see Tanira punch him in the face.
I was so close. You have no idea. I was so close.
But you do understand that everyone in China is going insane because they don't understand what's happening.
Oh yeah.
Just to be clear, though, I get
it.
That was pretty much basic Rytha you got there, you know.
Yeah,
just the general level of malaise and sorrow.
But I still want Tanira to punch him in the face.
I feel like I'm going to get shit on for talking about all of this. At the end of the episode, somebody's gonna be like, "Just do the fight, just do the fight," and I'm like, "No, I want to
That
make
person will be me."
I didn't know you guys would get to the end so quickly, so I didn't prepare a special battle map for the fight. Which is why we're not moving. I also don't think we would definitely have to stop midway through the fight for sure.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
You may think
most Hydras are.
Yeah, you're right. Most Hydras have a ton of fucking hit points and regenerate their heads.
Yeah, they're a damage sponge. Yeah, definitely.
Pretty much the only way to stop this party because your boy Mr. Axe shows up and just is like, "All right, I use Action Surge. I did 200 damage in a round," and I'm just okay, whatever. All right, we're done with this fight now. You kill the boss.
Modern
I should hit harder with the Searing Smite I got.
The quadruple Searing Smite?
Yeah. Well, it's because now I have 5 charges in my ring plus my spell slots.
A triple double of thunders.
You just have to be wearing the ring. That means you need to have fingers. I hope that sounded really sinister. All right. Any outros we want to do before we wrap up a little early?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Hi. Hello, everyone. I released a video about reverse grip for swords, what is good and what's bad, aka that episode of Witcher is bad. But anyway, you can go watch it on YouTube. Learn to hit your shot. Yeah.
I've been watching Sellsword Arts also do reverse grip memes. People are just like, "Why don't you do a reverse grip video?" And he's like, "All right, I did a reverse grip video. Ah, my sword fell out of my hand. What a regrip."
Yeah, and there's no jokes in mine. It's just body mechanics and science and history. So there you go.
I remember
It's only
once
6
reading.
minutes.
I remember reading an article once where some like competition shooters decided to try firing pistols like on their side, gangster style, and just seeing how accurate they were. And of course, they're not accurate because you can't sight along the side. They just did it for fun, and it's just to prove that like it has no practical purpose.
Yeah.
It does have one practical piece of purpose, which Metal Gear Solid has pointed out. If you want to spray down a large area very quickly, the recoil will allow you to move laterally very fast. That is the only purpose. Bandit style.
You think that, but they actually found that the recoil went the same way because it's more about the dynamics. It's more about the biometrics of the arm rather than the physics of the gun. So it actually recoiled the same way that a gun would recoil firing normally.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. So it still goes like that, and you don't
You're telling me
have that.
Metal Gear Solid lied to me? Metal Gear Solid 3.
Blasphemous. Yeah, my name is Bearded Jalapeno. I stream on Twitch Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Usually art, but sometimes games. We've been doing a lot more art recently, though, so check me out there if you want to see me draw stuff. And I'm also still working on the illustration for this season, so I'll be working on that as well.
Okay. Anyone else got any outros? I'd hate to cut Glimo off and then have to restart the stream just to. That's a reference to last night.
Nothing. Which you should watch.
I guess that sounded very threatening, though, James.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to keep your fingers,
wow.
that is.
Wow, geez.
Listen, I don't need fingers. I just need to have it worn. Okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. That's it for this episode. Join us for a false Hydra boss battle next time around. Have a good time zone. And don't forget those clocks, non-Americans. We're all slaves to the American time system if we live in America.
Except for Arizona.